Welcome back to another English lesson. I have been in Paris for 48 hours. So I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to talk a little bit about where I'm staying, and I want to help you with your English listening comprehension. So I'm going to walk and talk at the same time. I will talk slowly. I will probably mess up when I speak because native English speakers don't get everything right, of course, but I think it will be a good way for you to learn English. So let me explain where I'm at. I'm at my Airbnb here in Paris, France. Maybe you've heard of that city. I'm sure you have. One of the most famous cities in the world. And the first thing I might say is that in this Airbnb, it's an apartment building, but on the reviews it said, hey, there are a lot of steps. There is no elevator. If you were in England, you might hear there is no lift. So I knew that coming into it, but every time we climb these steps, it does make me start to breathe heavily. So in the United States, most apartment buildings, we have a law called the Americans with Disabilities Act, which means if somebody can't walk, the building has to provide a way to get up to a higher floor. Well, we're not in America, are we? We're not in the United States. We're in Paris. So I think it's kind of cool. Very old building, and there are a lot of steps. But it's been fun. It's been good exercise. And as I walk the streets of Paris, I can tell that on average, the people here are a little bit thinner than at least myself and most Americans. But it's been a great 48 hours. I've done a lot of recording. So Jamie and I, my wife is here. She's getting ready. I mean, these wooden floors are just so cool. This one's a little, almost looks like my foot would go through it. But that's the beauty of Paris. It's a very old city. And I forgot what I was talking about, but that's okay. Sometimes native English speakers forget what they were talking about. Can you help me? What was I saying? Oh, the steps. Yeah, it's fun. We had our luggage to go up the steps. It was okay though. Now our luggage is there. We can go up the steps just ourselves. Still a little hard, but look at this little courtyard here in my Airbnb. This definitely does not look like the United States. This is probably one reason that Americans come to the United States, because everything in the United States is pretty new compared to Paris or France or most of Europe. Look at this. A lot of bike riding in Paris, which is great. In the city, even though it's a very old city, they have found ways to have bike lanes on almost every street. Jamie and I were thinking maybe we should rent bikes, which wouldn't be too bad. So I have a lot of keys for my Airbnb, and there's a gate that I have to get out of. So let's see if I remember how to do this. I think there's a little sensor here. Maybe I just push this. Yeah, just push this, and then I can pull, I think, or push. That didn't work. Let's try it again. Maybe I need this. Might call this a key fob in English. I think you just push it. Oh, maybe we can't get out of the Airbnb. You push it. I pushed it and then it closed. Okay. I can do this with a camera and one hand. I think, what did I say? Push, pull, push. Yeah, there we go. There we go. And look at it. You just do not see doors like this in the United States. How do I? Maybe, yeah. So there's a little lock there, and I just pull. It's a very heavy door to do with one hand. But let's step out onto the street here in Paris, and then we'll just take a walk. The sun is shining that way, so I say we go this way. And who knows, we might walk past some Parisians. And they might think, why is this guy talking to a camera? Did you know that in English, people who are from Paris, we say they are Parisians. And anything, that's the adjective we use. Maybe like you go into a shop and you get some Parisian bread, which has been excellent. I've really liked, see, the first meal I had in Paris was a hot dog, which seems pretty American to me as an American, but it might be more German, the hot dog. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Where does the hot dog come from? Where should we go? That way? Let's go that way because the famous river in Paris, the Seine, is right down here. So maybe that's something we can look at together. I also want to teach you this English phrasal verb, going hard. So like I said earlier, we have been in Paris for 48 hours, but we've been going hard. We've been doing all the stuff. You can say that when you're at work too. Man, I've been going hard at work. It's another way to say you've been working really hard. So we've been going hard since we got here. We slept in a little bit this morning. It's about 10:15. And the other thing I want to talk about is how cold it is. It's actually pretty cold. Right now, I looked before I left and it said it was 37 degrees Fahrenheit. So it is above freezing, just slightly. And luckily, Jamie and I are from a part of the United States where it gets really cold. We're close to Canada. So we're prepared for it. It was a little chilly. It's another way to say a little cold. It was a little chilly, but nothing that we couldn't handle. Paris in February, yep, it's chilly. I'll show you what I'm looking at here. Maybe we can go over to that little park and I'll talk about, I haven't seen it yet in this park, but I bet they have a sign about watching out for rats. But here, I think we can cross now, even though it's red. Let's go fast. It's green now, it's green. But all these little parks, they call them gardens here. And I think that's what the British would call it, was a garden. Ooh, how do you get in though? Yeah, right here. Okay. Yeah, I haven't really explored this part of Paris. We've always gone the other way. We did a video at Notre Dame yesterday. There it is, stop the rats. I knew a couple years ago, because I saw it on the news, that Paris has a problem with bed bugs, or they had a problem a couple years with bed bugs. I haven't seen any bed bugs. And the research I did said that the media or the news kind of blew it out of proportion. Do you know that term? Blew it out of proportion. Looks like these are the rules, right, maybe? That's garden in French. But blow it out of proportion means make it a bigger deal than it is. So maybe there were some bed bugs in Paris a couple years ago, but not anymore. Hello. Okay, there are two people up there. I see 3 legs. I wonder what they're doing. I don't want to know what they're doing in there. But I wanted to come to this park and talk about Parisians, the people who live here. Oh no. Actually, they could maybe be homeless. I'm not sure. Let's talk about that first. A couple of months ago, Jamie and I visited New York City. So let's kind of compare New York City to Paris. Frequently sirens going off. Not as much in New York though. It seems like there's always vehicles with their sirens blaring. How about that verb? Making a lot of noise, blaring. Can I get out here? But the city of Paris, very, very clean. In fact, I think that woman over there is cleaning the park. So this random park here in Paris, super clean. Find a piece of trash on the ground. You can't. Paris. So I would say Paris is a little cleaner than New York City. Nah, I can't go out this way. I'll go back the other way. So cleaner. I would say safer also. New York City, when you're walking around, you might find some like kind of, mentally unstable might be a term you could use that's kind of polite, but also says that people are not like in their right mind. They're a little crazy. Paris, I'm sure, has those type of people, but they hide it better than the people in New York. So when you're walking down a street in New York, it's possible somebody who's a little crazy, mentally unstable, will ask you for money or follow you. It's just not really unsafe, but it's just you have to put your guard up. When you put your guard up in English, it's just like something bad could happen, so you want to be aware of it. In Paris, I haven't even seen one person like that. And a couple months ago, I was in New York for about 48 hours. I can't count the number of people that I saw that I thought, they should have somebody with them. Like somebody should be taking care of this person. So that's one thing about Paris. Cleaner, it feels safer. And of course, I'm in the touristy parts. You know that adjective? Touristy? It's like the places tourists go. So I am in the touristy spots of France, but I found it to be clean and very safe. The last thing I want to talk about is the Parisians themselves. Now in the United States, I think we got a green light here. I think there is a stereotype that, let's say the French, so people in France are not the most polite. There's the Seine, beautiful, still kind of early morning here. But yeah, in the United States, I think the French, in Paris at least, the touristy spots had a reputation, or there was a stereotype of the French being kind of rude, like not liking tourists, or like you have to speak French here or people will be mad. So I know just enough French to let people here know that I can't speak French. So when I go into a store or a restaurant, I will say something like this: Bonjour, monsieur. I think that's polite, right? To call them Mr. Hello, Mr. Madame, bonjour. Pardon, je ne parle pas français. Tu parles anglais, s'il vous plaît? So I usually do that when I go in there, just letting people know I don't know how to speak French. I'm very sorry. Je suis américain stupide, I could say. I'm a stupid American. So sometimes I do that, try to make people laugh. But Jamie doesn't know any French, and she will often just say, hello, I don't speak French. The people here have been absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. In the restaurants, we took an Uber a couple times yesterday. People were so nice, very friendly to tourists. So if you have heard that stereotype about the people in France being rude, I think it's an old stereotype. I don't think that is true anymore. So of course, like I could find one or two people that would be rude. I'm sure I will at some point. Let's go down here. But it hasn't happened yet. So in that respect, New York, I'm not sure if they're super rude, but I mean, the people here have been super friendly. And I know just a couple days ago, my vice president of the United States, J.D. Vance, came to Europe and said some bad things about European governments. So a couple of my friends at home, my brother Ben, if you've seen any of his videos, he said, "Oh, I'm surprised that people are being nice to you. I thought Europeans were starting to hate Americans." And if that is true, I have not seen any of them yet. So super friendly people here in Paris. I'm visiting in February, so yes, it is a little colder. But guess what? That means the crowds are a little bit smaller. Yesterday we went to the top of the Eiffel Tower. Was it busy? There were people there, but it was not crowded. So I might suggest to you, if you want to visit Paris and you are from a cold place already, like Jamie and I are from a cold place, wear a jacket, wear a sweatshirt, you might be okay. No snow on the ground. So I guess to wrap up this English lesson, hopefully it's helped you with your listening. I would say come to Paris if you want in February. It's a great time. I have another couple days here. I will continue to film English lessons. Going to the Arc de Triomphe tonight. We're taking a riverboat cruise here on the Seine in a couple hours. So stay tuned. I will come back with more English lessons from Paris, but thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button, please. It might help other people find this English lesson. So from Paris, oh, I almost tripped on that step. Very old cobblestone streets and walkways. So maybe one last tip about Paris, just be mindful of maybe the surface is not even. There might be some bumps. But thank you so much for watching. See you real soon.